It is this fear that the people within the party, within the primary system, will have about voting for a woman, because every time we voted for a woman, we've lost so far. And I think that that's a natural fear, because we just want to win. So there's a lot of people that are like, you know what? Like, let's go find the safest white boy we can find. I mean, I'm just saying.
Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett saying Democrats want, in her words, the, quote, safest white boy in the 2028 presidential race, hinting that Democrats have maybe even picked a specific candidate who's being floated by the party's donors. Sharing this during a recent podcast appearance, the Congresswoman didn't name names, but cited ongoing concerns about electability and previous losses for female candidates. With us now, Rob Arlett, former Delaware Trump state chair and Republican strategist, and Elizabeth Mitchell is here, White House correspondent for the Daily Signal. Welcome to you both. Thanks for coming on. Okay, Rob, the Texas Congresswoman has a formula. Do you think she sticks to it? And what does this tell you about the direction Democrats might be headed?
Well, good morning. Always a pleasure to be with you in the audience. And look, let's be very honest. The Democrats continue to focus on identity politics. That's what's failing. They keep thinking that's going to win. But why don't they just focus on perhaps the best qualified candidate? And that's really what's going on here. They're not getting it, and she's not getting it. And perhaps the DNC is maybe starting to think about that again. It has nothing to do with white or black or yellow or purple. It's who's the best qualified person that will share their message. The other problem is Democrats don't have a message right now. It's just, other than anti-orange man, anti-Trump. So they're lost, to be honest with you. They're floundering, if you would. So for me, it's kind of comical and fun to see their antics, because they're just not getting it.
Yeah, indeed. And if you expand that even, Elizabeth, it pairs nicely with President Biden's recent appearance on The View. He was asked part of the reasons why Kamala Harris lost the election. And again, he brought up sexism. That, I guess, more than half the country just doesn't feel comfortable voting for a woman. So that's where their view is right now, instead of actually looking deeper at the candidates. Do you think they've shown any sign of truly understanding what happened in November of 2024?
Definitely not. It seems like Democrats missed that key lesson in the 2024 election, that race and gender are not what win elections, but it's merit. I think we can see this across the Biden administration when he said he was going to nominate a black woman for Supreme Court justice, particularly chose Kamala Harris as his VP because she was a black woman, and we can see how that turned out for them. It resulted in massive losses in the recent election.
Right. But Rob, you know who fits that bill? Gavin Newsom. And I don't think it's a surprise to think maybe he would like the nomination. Do you think that's whom we might see's name floated for Democrats?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I say that I actually believe that he actually wanted it back in, of course, 2024. And when Biden stepped away, obviously that created a vacuum, if you would. But I always thought he was going to do it. His policies are horrifically bad. Just look at California. But he's a good-looking guy, he's well-spoken, and he can raise money. And that's how shallow our politics have become. But I believe that's also one of the reasons why he is the governor and a person of power, if you would, because of those traits. And so, yeah, I would say he's probably the number one pick in my mind at this point in time for the DNC.
Sure. Still years away, so we'll have to wait and see who might emerge as the candidate. But let's talk about an election that's coming up sooner than that, and that's the Ohio governor's race, actually. Let's zero in on this, because Vivek Ramaswamy, remember him? He wanted to run for governor, for president, should I say, but now he's looking at the governorship, and he's got an endorsement, the Ohio Republican Party supporting him. So that's big, Elizabeth. There's still some time, obviously, between now and the election, but there's an interest in this. What does that tell you about his prospects? Do you think Ramaswamy could be the next governor of Ohio?
I think that his options are certainly looking good after getting this endorsement. We know from recent elections that a Trump endorsement, of course, is the greatest thing a candidate can get. And it seems like he's set up to get that, as well as the Ohio GOP endorsement, because he laid the groundwork for DOGE, which Americans largely have supported, seeing so much waste, fraud, and abuse come in our government. He was there laying the groundwork for that, and now he's running for governor of a state where he's led a pretty successful business as an entrepreneur. And so I think we can expect to see big things coming.
Okay, good point. We'll keep watching for that. President Trump is in Saudi Arabia right now, which you cannot ignore because we're talking about investments in the United States. And then there was this reporting, Rob, a gift to the DOD, which has been clarified by the Department of Defense here. A $400 million super luxury 747 jet gifted by the royal family of Qatar, which would be used by President Trump as a new Air Force One. It was apparently been moving around, but we're waiting for an official sort of gifting ceremony. Perhaps that could come in the next few days when the president actually visits Qatar. And he says he would want to take the gift because that's how he sees it. Rob, what do you think about this move by the president? Potentially, we're talking about here in the future sense, but it looks like almost a done deal.
Yeah, I will share with you. I do a lot of media hits also for international Middle Eastern news outlets. They're actually my biggest clients, as a matter of fact. And I will share with you, some of them also have very big concerns for this. So the optics are not real good. And I will tell you, I come from a military background. More than just the gift, the optics, but for me, it's the security issue. This plane apparently has already been built, ready just to give it over. I have a really big issue as it relates to the security concerns when a foreign entity, a foreign country, gives our president or the Department of Defense, if you would, the plane. More so, I would say, of the security concerns than just the public optics. It's not a good look, and I know a lot of Republicans are pushing back. And I visited my barber shop just a couple doors down, and they all kind of agreed, you know, the little chitter chatter in the barber shops. And so they kind of agreed it's not real good a look for the president to give to receive a gift from a foreign country, specifically, I would say, within the Middle East region.
Okay. And, you know, Rob, you're not alone. There are several outspoken MAGA supporters who are hesitant about this one. Elizabeth, it's not met without political pushback also. We're seeing senators from the Democrat Party weighing in. Chuck Schumer had said nothing says America first like Air Force One brought to you by Qatar. It's not just bribery. It's premium foreign influence with extra leg room. Final thoughts to you, Elizabeth. Could this backfire on the president or at least his MAGA agenda going forward?
I agree with what you've said so far because we're at a time where America just got a hostage back from Hamas. An American has returned to the United States. Of course, we're celebrating this. This person was in very bad conditions for a long time, and we finally have him home. And it really does not seem like the time to be making such an alliance, accepting such a gift from a country which we know is propping up Hamas.
All right. The president had also expressed frustration with Boeing for not getting it together to actually build a replacement Air Force One. So again, this seems to at least be the plans for the temporary fix, and then it will go to the Trump presidential library. So we're, looking into a crystal ball here, but I appreciate you both doing so. Rob Arlett, Elizabeth Mitchell, thanks so much.